Dialectical Materialism, A. Spirikin. Chapter 2. The System of Categories in Philosophical Thought. The Categories of Dialectics. Dialectics and metaphysics. Dialectics is a theory of the most general connections of the universe and its cognition, and also the method of thinking based on this theory. Anyone who wants to find a rational orientation in the world and change the world must have a knowledge of the dialectics of life and thought. Dialectical thinking has its roots far back in the past. The most striking example was Heraclitus, who saw the world as being in constant flux, intrinsically contradictory, an eternally living fire blazing up and dying down according to certain laws. The ideas of dialectics run right through the history of the development of human thought. They were profoundly expressed in such great thinkers as Kant and Hegel. In Hegel, dialectics embraces the whole sphere of reality and the life of the mind. Dialectical thought reached its highest peak in the philosophy of Marxism, in which materialist dialectics is expressed in a system of philosophical principles, categories, and laws. Dialectics arose and develops historically in a struggle against the metaphysical method, which is characteristically one-sided and abstract, and inclined to absolutize certain elements within the whole. Metaphysical views have taken various historical forms. While Heraclitus stressed one aspect of existence, the changeability of things, which the sophists extended to complete relativism, the Eleatic philosophers, in their criticism of the Heraclitian principle of flux, concentrated on another aspect, on the stability of existence, and went to another extreme in supposing that everything was changeless. Thus, some philosophers dissolved the world in a fiery flux, while others crystallized it into immovable rock. In modern times, metaphysics has taken the form of an absolutizing of the analysis and classification techniques in the cognition of nature. Because they are constantly repeated in scientific research, the techniques of analysis, experimental isolation, and classification have gradually imparted to scientific thinking certain general ideas, suggesting that in nature's workshop, objects exist in isolation, as it were, apart from one another. As philosophy and the specialized sciences have developed, the focus of the struggle between dialectics and metaphysics has shifted from attempts to explain the connection of things to interpretation of the principle of development. Here, metaphysical thought emerged at first in the form of simple evolutionism, and then in various concepts of creative evolution. While the former hypertrophies quantitative and gradual changes, ignoring qualitative transitions, and breaks in gradualness, the latter absolutize the qualitative, essential changes without perceiving the gradual quantitative preparatory processes leading up to them. So metaphysical thought is inclined to jump to extremes, to exaggerate some aspect of the object, its stability, recurrence, relative independence, and so on. In cognition, this leads to idealism or dogmatism, and in practice to the justification of stagnation and reaction. The only antidote to metaphysics and dogmatism, which is metaphysics in another form, is dialectics, which will not tolerate stagnation and sets no limits to cognition and its scope. Dissatisfaction with what has been achieved is the element of dialectics, and revolutionary activity is its essence.